Hello and welcome to Paper Loud, Breaking Good. Today we're diving into a story that's shaking the entertainment world, the P. Diddy scandal. The man who once embodied success, cultural influence and resilience now faces serious allegations that could dismantle his entire legacy. Sean Combs, better known as P. Diddy, did not just build a music empire, he became a symbol of ambition and power. As the founder of Bad Boy Records, Diddy's success story is etched into the history of hip-hop. Yet as new allegations of assault, coercion and organized crime come to light, his image as a mogul is rapidly falling apart. Today, we'll explore how this scandal unfolded, how the community reacted, and why this story is far more than just another celebrity controversy. Let's start by examining the core of the allegations. The allegations. A fall from grace. The controversy erupted when a 14-page indictment surfaced, accusing Diddy of leading a criminal enterprise through his business entities, including Combs Enterprises and Bad Boy Records. The most disturbing part of the indictment points to systematic abuse of power, where Diddy allegedly used his influence to orchestrate and cover up criminal acts. Systemic abuse and exploitation. According to prosecutors, Diddy's parties, infamously known as freak-offs, were elaborate setups where women were allegedly coerced into performing sexual acts. These events were reportedly facilitated by his employees, who transported women across state lines and ensured that the incidents remained concealed from the public eye. The prosecution further alleges that Diddy's influence in the music and fashion industries created a climate where victims felt trapped and powerless. Utilizing his celebrity status, he allegedly convinced victims that resistance would ruin their careers. Evidence under scrutiny. What makes this case particularly explosive are the claims of video evidence, recordings that allegedly show Diddy directing and orchestrating the events. These videos, reportedly found during a raid, could potentially corroborate the victims' accounts. If confirmed, they would severely damage Diddy's defense. The defense, reputation under siege. Diddy's legal team has vehemently denied the charges, labeling them as fabricated and opportunistic. His lawyer, Mark Agnifilo, stated, "These accusations are strategically timed to destroy a legacy built over decades. We will fight these baseless claims with every resource available." They also questioned the credibility of the witnesses, emphasizing that some have financial ties to rival music companies. This defense strategy aims to paint the allegations as a coordinated attack by Diddy's industry rivals. The power of perception, media and public opinion. As soon as the allegations broke, mainstream media outlets like CNN and the New York Times ran extensive coverage, often blending facts with speculation. Some headlines like "Diddy's Darkest Secret, the Man Behind the Mogul," have been criticized for shaping public opinion before a trial. Media critic Laura Green noted, "In the rush to report, some outlets are crossing ethical lines by prioritizing scandal over substantiated facts. It's dangerous when perception becomes reality." The hip-hop community's divided response. The shockwave among artists. Within the hip-hop community, reactions are deeply divided. Many artists who have long-standing professional ties with Diddy have remained noticeably silent, including influential figures like Jay-Z and Mary J. Blige. This silence is perceived by some as cautious loyalty, while others interpret it as fear of backlash. Younger artists like Cordae have openly stated that the industry needs to break the cycle of protecting powerful men. On social media, his statement went viral. "We gotta hold people accountable no matter how legendary they are. Respect the legacy, but don't excuse the behavior." A generational conflict, old versus new. There's a clear generational divide in how the scandal is being processed. Older fans and artists who grew up admiring Diddy's journey from producer to mogul are more inclined to wait for the legal outcome. In contrast, younger voices, shaped by movements like Me Too, are demanding immediate accountability. Rapper Killer Mike weighed in. "This ain't about hating on legends. It's about saying that no one is above the law. Hip-hop has to stop protecting its own when the charges are this serious." The fan dilemma, supporting the icon or condemning the actions. Fans are also grappling with the reality that someone they looked up to may be guilty of heinous acts. Some are choosing to separate the art from the artist, while others feel that continuing to support Diddy's music would be morally wrong. One fan on Reddit expressed the conflict succinctly. "I grew up with his music, but how can I keep playing his songs when there's so much darkness behind the name?" What's your take? Should artists be held accountable before a legal verdict, or should we reserve judgment? Share your thoughts. But what does this scandal mean for the future of hip-hop's legacy? Can the community move forward without confronting its past? The cultural reckoning, hip-hop's moment of truth. Hip-hop's culture of silence, protecting icons or enabling abuse. The P. Diddy scandal has forced the hip-hop community to confront a harsh reality. Has the culture been complicit in enabling powerful figures to act without consequence? For decades, hip-hop has celebrated stories of resilience, hustle, and survival, often led by larger-than-life figures like Diddy. But as allegations of abuse surface, it becomes clear that this loyalty sometimes shields harmful behavior. The code of silence, a tradition in hip-hop. Throughout hip-hop's history, there's been an unspoken rule: protect those who pave the way. Icons like Diddy, who have built empires and helped bring hip-hop into the mainstream, are often treated as untouchable. When accusations arise, the community's first instinct is often denial or defense. Social commentator Angie Martinez summed it up: "We love our legends because they're ours. We made them." It's hard to look at someone who inspired you and think they could be guilty of something so dark. However, the Me Too movement has forced a shift in perspective. Younger artists and fans are less willing to excuse bad behavior just because of past achievements. The debate is now splitting the community. Should loyalty to hip-hop's pioneers outweigh the need for moral accountability? Celebrity silence, self-preservation, or complicity? One of the most controversial aspects of the scandal is the silence from industry heavyweights. While some interpret this as a calculated move to avoid controversy, others see it as a disturbing lack of support for victims. Jay-Z, for instance, has faced backlash for not publicly addressing the situation. Nas and Mary J. Blige have also chosen not to comment, prompting debates over whether this silence is a form of tacit approval. Media analyst David Green believes this silence is a form of self-preservation. These artists know that being vocal can make them targets too. In an industry where careers hinge on public perception, many choose silence to protect their own legacy. However, activists like Tarana Burke, founder of Me Too, argue that remaining silent in the face of abuse perpetuates a culture of complicity. She recently tweeted, "Silence is not neutrality, it's endorsement." When powerful men in hip-hop stay quiet, they're sending a message to victims: your pain is less important than our comfort. Social media as judge and jury, the modern courtroom. In a world where public perception can be shaped with a tweet, social media has become the new courtroom. Platforms like Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok are flooded with opinions, reactions, and debates. Some fans continue to defend Diddy, arguing that he should be given a fair trial before being condemned. Others insist that the volume and severity of the allegations speak for themselves. The echo chamber effect. One of the challenges in this digital discourse is the echo chamber effect. Followers tend to align with their favorite artists' perspectives, creating polarized factions. On TikTok, users dissect Diddy's past interviews, looking for signs of guilt. On Twitter, the hashtags #CancelDiddy and #StandWithDiddy compete for visibility. Social media expert Cynthia Marks points out, social media doesn't just amplify opinions, it polarizes them. The problem here is that people form opinions before the facts are even confirmed. Public backlash and celebrity endorsements. Interestingly, some celebrities who initially supported Diddy are now backtracking. After initially tweeting support, rapper French Montana deleted his post, likely due to the public backlash. This pattern of hesitant endorsement highlights the high stakes of taking a stance on such a divisive issue. Can hip-hop evolve? The need for cultural reform. The scandal surrounding Diddy raises a broader question. Can the hip-hop community evolve to prioritize accountability without sacrificing its identity? Historically, the genre has thrived on rebellion and defiance, but as more stories of abuse come to light, some argue that it's time for a cultural shift. Learning from the past, a cultural shift in progress. Artists like J. Cole and Chance the Rapper are advocating for a code of ethics within the industry, emphasizing transparency and zero tolerance for abuse. This cultural shift is not just about holding individuals accountable, but also about rethinking how success and power are rewarded. Music historian Dr. Marcus Wright believes the key to change lies in public discourse. Hip-hop has always been about storytelling. Now it's time to tell the story of accountability. If the genre wants to survive, it needs to shed the narrative that power equals invincibility. A new standard, responsible representation. If the community truly wants to evolve, it must confront uncomfortable truths. This means not only addressing individual misconduct, but also acknowledging the systemic flaws that allow powerful figures to escape scrutiny. Prominent voices are calling for internal oversight within record labels to prevent abuse, clear guidelines on artist conduct, especially during public events, an open dialogue between fans, artists, and the media to set expectations on accountability. How should the hip-hop community move forward after the Diddy scandal? Should loyalty to iconic figures outweigh accountability? Let us know your thoughts. Final thoughts: redemption or rejection? As the legal process unfolds, the cultural debate will continue. Diddy's story is not just about one man, it's about how hip-hop as a whole confronts its past and shapes its future. Whether this scandal will become a catalyst for change or just another controversy that fades into the background remains to be seen. Final thoughts. Lessons from the Diddy scandal. A moment of reflection. The P. Diddy scandal is more than just another high-profile controversy. It's a wake-up call for the hip-hop community and the entertainment industry as a whole. As the story continues to unfold, it forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about power dynamics, loyalty, and accountability. A moment of reckoning. In the past, the music industry has often been slow to hold its icons accountable. When someone as influential as Diddy is accused, the knee-jerk reaction has often been to protect the legacy rather than question the behavior. Yet, as more artists and fans speak out, it's clear that the culture of silence and complicity is being challenged. The debate around Diddy's scandal reveals a generational clash within the community. While older fans and artists feel a sense of loyalty to those who paved the way, younger voices demand more moral consistency. This clash highlights a paradigm shift where legacy alone is no longer a shield against scrutiny. Moving forward, a blueprint for change. If the hip-hop community wants to maintain its cultural relevance, it must evolve. This means adopting a zero-tolerance policy towards abuse, regardless of how iconic or influential the accused might be. Artists and fans alike are beginning to realize that hero worship cannot justify turning a blind eye to harmful behavior. Steps towards accountability. Industry self-regulation. Implementing internal policies within record labels to address allegations proactively. Open dialogue. Encouraging discussions among fans, artists, and media without fear of backlash. Support systems for victims, creating safe spaces within the industry where survivors can speak out without fear of retaliation. A community at a crossroads. At the heart of this controversy lies a simple question. Can we separate the art from the artist when the allegations are this severe? As Diddy's trial progresses, the hip-hop community will have to decide whether preserving legacies outweighs standing up for justice. In the words of activist Tarana Burke, the strength of a community is not measured by how fiercely it protects its heroes, but by how willing it is to hold them accountable. What do you think? Can the hip-hop community evolve to balance loyalty and accountability? Share your thoughts and keep the conversation going. Conclusion. The end of silence. The P. Diddy scandal could mark a turning point. If handled thoughtfully, it has the potential to reshape how the music industry addresses allegations of misconduct. The outcome will not only define Diddy's legacy, but also set a precedent for how powerful figures are held to account in the future. As fans, artists, and industry professionals reflect on this controversy, it's essential to remember that supporting survivors and demanding integrity should never be seen as an attack on culture. Instead, it's a step towards making that culture stronger, fairer, and more respectful. Thank you for watching Paper Loud, Breaking Good. Stay tuned for more in-depth analyses and conversations on the most pressing issues in pop culture and beyond. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to never miss an update. Stay curious, stay critical, and see you next time.